Is it horror? It's borderline. Is it punk rock? Yes.
He's got that face that's kind of like resting bastard face, I guess if you could call it something like that.
Oh my God, it's awesome. The most fun scene you've ever seen, where these punk rock kids just come out and annihilate this group of Nazis. Oh, it's the best.
Yes. Welcome back. We appreciate you coming. We had we're 1 week later than we usually are.
Yes, because we were on vacation.
We were on
last
vacation.
Week.
And
we were sleeping late and feeling great.
Yeah.
That's what we were doing.
And having some drinks, and we're trying
now
to
we're back in
shake it
Ohio,
up.
getting up early and feeling surly.
But we're good, feeling good about being at Fright Club with people coming in. Welcome.
Hey, friends.
Welcome
Fright
in.
Clubbers.
We've got a great movie tonight. We've got a special introduction, a virtual.
Yep.
We're being joined virtually by our friend and filmmaker, Jen Wexler.
Yep.
Which is very cool. Going to show her movie, The Ranger, and a short film
of hers.
from Jen
that she
Wexler
sent
as well.
us to show, which is super fun.
And she's become, over the last few years, she's become a friend of Gateways. Been here to Nightmares and hanging out with Fright Club. So we appreciate her getting involved and being a part of it as we talk about punk rock horror, which is fun and a little different, kind of a left turn from female rage and horror that we did last time.
Not that much of a turn, honestly. Not too much. It was a really fun time, though. I mean, we enjoyed that topic. That was a cool movie to get to watch. We've had, of course, some feedback on our list. And the thing is, there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of movies that we could have talked about, and we had to narrow it down. We want to welcome back Lauren and Kate. Thank you for coming back. They were here for their first Fright Club for the Female Rage, and they had some good ideas. Autopsy of Jane Doe.
Mm-hmm.
I would not have thought about that one, but it's a great one because I don't know if you've seen it or not, but if it were not for Female Rage, well, there would have been no Jane Doe.
Right, yeah. And I don't think you mentioned, but the movie we watched last time was The Other Lamb.
That's right.
Which I think went over pretty well.
It did.
Yeah.
It did go over really well. And then the other one they mentioned is Swallow, which is great as well. But a Fright Club film. We showed that one.
Yeah, and a Nightmares Film Festival film.
It was a Nightmares Film Festival.
We had a
film.
premiere here at Nightmares, so that's
right.
a lot of love for that film. Those are two great ideas. Other mentions. We have any mentions last time? Oh, we had a couple.
Yeah, Corey, right? Corey Metcalf, our friend from the future, our friend from Down Under. He was surprised that we didn't at least mention I Spit on Your Grave.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
A lot of rage there.
A lot of rage there, yeah. That's not my favorite movie, but a lot of rage. We've mentioned Nightmares Film Festival several times already. Mm-hmm. I want to mention that I have a new book, and it comes out June 16th, but I have...
17th.
June 17th, but I have some copies here. If you're interested, just $5, which is just what it cost me to get them here. And it's inspired by Nightmares Film Festival. So we're judges for that film festival, and many years back, we were scrolling through, the site of the movies that we needed to look at, and there was a movie in there called Adam, and that's the name of one of our judges. And I thought, oh, that's interesting, Adam. And then I kept scrolling, and there was another movie in there called Jason, which is the name of the guy who programs the entire festival. And I said to myself, if I see a title with my name on it, I quit this festival. And I thought, why? Why would I do that? So I wrote a whole book about that, specifically about a film festival where the movies might kill you.
And it's fun. It's a lot of fun. And if you spend a lot of time at Nightmares, you may recognize some of the characters.
Yeah.
Which makes it even more fun. But
yeah.
it's a really fun book. So.
And the audio book will be available soon, as narrated by one George Wolfe.
And if you want, I'll come over and act it out with shadow puppets too. We can do that. But Killer Pictures, I got some copies down here. I'm sure you'd be happy to sign some too.
I would.
If you'd like. But okay, so we're talking about more. We have any more ideas that we missed from last time besides
I don't think
those?
so, no.
Okay. I'm sorry, Death Proof.
I'm sorry, you're right, Death Proof. And Corey also mentioned, so Richard said that we should have talked about Death Proof, which is a great, and Corey agreed with that. That is a great idea.
Yep, those are good. All good ideas for Female Rage. But now we're on to punk rock and horror.
Yes.
And I think the main thing is to keep in mind that it's very specifically punk rock.
Yes.
Not just rock in general.
No, because, for example, you might be expecting us to talk about Deathgasm, which is a really fun movie and a great movie, but it's clearly metal. And those we could do easily a podcast on metal and horror.
Easily.
We might at some point, but these are punk rock movies.
And by the way, you're sporting the Iggy and the Stooges.
Yeah, I got a Stooges shirt on.
I'm not a huge punk rock fan. I've got my favorite punk rocker, Bruce Springsteen. A bigger fan this week than
that's
all of a sudden.
That's right. Well, we're longtime fans, but especially
we were
right
just
now.
shocked to learn he's a liberal. What? Been listening for 50
What?
years, never knew, right?
That's crazy
Okay.
to me. Anyway, but yeah.
But I do like Iggy Pop. He's one of the few
God,
that's.
yes, my God, yes. Yeah, I'm all in on punk rock. So this was a fun list for me to put together, and I'm a little surprised I didn't indulge in this before. But anyway, it was a fun list to do. There were a handful that didn't make the list that I want to mention. There's a movie called Uncle Peckerhead, which is not a great movie. It's a very low budget movie, but it is fun, and it's about a punk rock band whose roadie kind of turns into kind of a zombie. Anyway, it's funny, it's fun, and that is very punk rock. Slumber Party Massacre 2, also very punk rock, that movie. Class of 1984. Almost made the list. So what we have at number 5 knocked it out. And then also Driller Killer, the old Abel Ferrara. That's a very punk rock film. The movie that we have at number 5, is it horror? It's borderline. Is it punk rock? Fuck yes. So, and it's just one of my favorites. It's one of the greatest. It's got one of the best and most well integrated punk rock soundtracks that you're ever going to find, and so that is why.
We'll do number 5. We'll jump right in?
Yeah.
We'll jump right in. Okay, at number 5, the one that's, judge for yourself how borderline horror you think this is. It's from 1984. A young punk recruited by a car repo agency finds himself in pursuit of a Chevrolet Malibu with a huge $20,000 bounty and something otherworldly stashed in the trunk in Repo Man.
It's the forces of law.
Marlene, I'm on my coffee break.
Against the representatives of discontented youth. Against the finest minds in government.
I had a lobotomy in the end.
Lobotomy? Isn't that for loonies?
Not at all.
And they're all in pursuit of a 64 Chevy Malibu from who knows where.
Blam! Eyes melt, skin explodes, everybody dead.
Repo Man. The story of the ultimate repossession.
Come on, Duke, let's go do those crimes.
Let's go do those crimes.
Yeah. Great line. That's an all-time line. You know, this movie is so punk rock that Xander Schloss, who plays Kevin the Nerd, ended up joining the Circle Jerks.
Nice.
And,
that's awesome.
Yeah, and they play on the soundtrack, and they're in the movie, and they're the lounge act that Otto can't believe.
Oh yeah.
That he used to like. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're very funny in this movie.
So that's some punk rock cred right there.
For sure. Well, they got Iggy Pop as well, Suicidal Tendencies, which is in the way that they use that song in that movie. I absolutely love that. Black Flag, The Plug Sphere. They got a ton of great punk rock soundtrack cuts on this one, and it's just a fun movie. It is. Came out in 1984. It seems like everything that came out in 1984 is awesome. And Harry Dean Stanton, he's like just one of the all-time great indie actors ever in everything, and it just seems so funny to have him in this particular movie, where somebody's driving around with alien corpses in their trunk. The narrative structure of this is so sort of wacky in a way that they stopped doing after the early 80s. It reminds me of like Valley Girl, the way that it's like stuff happens, just random stuff happens, and it just comes together in this great, incredibly fun and funny movie.
And researching this movie, I found a great story about Harry Dean Stanton, who's great anyway.
Yes.
But he, in working with Emilio Estevez in a scene, he wanted to do like a baseball-type signal to show him where to park the car. And Alex Cox, the filmmaker, I guess, is a notorious sports hater and didn't like the suggestion. And according to Cox on the DVD commentary, Stanton went nuts and said, I've worked with the greatest directors of all time. You know why they're great? Because they let me do whatever the fuck I wanted.
Wow. Wow. But just in Alex Cox's corner, he did go on after this movie. He made Sid and Nancy.
Yeah.
And also Straight to Hell. So he's got the punk rock bona fides going for him. Not that I'm siding against Harry Dean Stanton, but
So obviously the punk rock cred is no question.
Yeah.
Horror cred, we're going to call it yes.
Yeah, we're going to go with yes.
We're going to go with
we
yes.
get to make the rules.
That's right. So Repo Man from 1984 is number 5 on our punk rock horror. And boy, number 4 is a fun one just from this year. It's 4 interconnected stories set in 1987 Oakland, California. They tell about the love of music, movies, people, places, and memories beyond our knowable universe in freaky tales.
Boyd's out there slicing people up with a sword.
Can you repeat that?
Wasn't every day a story like this hit the town.
There's too many of them.
That's bullshit. We fight.
But for those who lived through it, it became the stuff of legends.
What happened here? You fucked with the wrong warrior.
This just came out a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Who has seen this?
Yeah.
Okay, good. It's really hard to explain. It's nuts, but it's so much fun.
It is.
It's from Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck, who were really great indie film directors until they were given Captain Marvel. And I think they did a decent job with Captain Marvel, I thought.
They Half Nelson, Mississippi Grind Sugar. They made great indie movies.
Good stuff.
And then they made the Marvel movie that made $1 billion, and then they turn around and make this weird. It's almost anthology, but it isn't really. It all happens on I think over 2 nights. In Oakland, and some of the events are very authentic to the time period in Oakland. There was a resurgence of skinheads at the time. They were beating up on kids at this punk rock show. The kids fought back with bats and nails, and oh my God,
it's
it
awesome.
is the most fun scene you've ever seen, where these punk rock kids just come out and annihilate this group of Nazis. Oh, it's the best.
And they're connected through each segment, focuses on a different type of music. You've got punk in one, you've got hip-hop in another one, and they end up being connected through this basketball player, Sleepy Floyd.
Who really existed. I don't know that he had samurai skills.
I don't think he had ninja skills, but it just goes in such wild places, and there's a lot of bloodshed, and it's just really, really fun, and it's obviously a love letter to Oakland, California.
Yes, yeah.
I think Ryan Fleck may be from there.
He is. She's not.
And the timestamp as well.
87,
so late 80s.
Yeah, it's perfect.
And if that is your thing, especially 80s stuff and that type of music, different genres, check it out because
they've got some good punk bands as well. They've got Public Images Limited is in there, but then also Aphids and the Avengers. The Avengers are in every single movie we talk about today. Actually, they've got some good punk bands in there.
Yeah, it's just a ton of fun, and I imagine it's streaming right now.
Oh yeah, it is streaming right now.
Yeah, so check it out. Just a few weeks old, but it's a type of movie I just did not see coming from Boden and Fleck.
No.
But I'm glad.
Oh my God.
And they have done that throughout their career. They've done different types
that is really
of
true.
films.
Yeah, that's
Sugar
really true.
was a sports movie out of nowhere, and then
Yeah.
of course they did the Marvel, and now this anthology, which is just nuts and fun. So that's Freaky Tales, a serious punk rock segment in there.
That's right.
That has a great revenge about it, like you were alluding to, and it's great. That is Freaky Tales, number 4. Punk rock horror. Let's go up to number 3. We've talked about this a few times. It's a favorite. From 1985, when 2 bumbling employees at a medical supply warehouse accidentally release a deadly gas into the air, the vapors cause the dead to rise again as zombies. Return of the Living Dead.
The dead are refusing to remain buried.
What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? We're gonna call the boss.
They've come back to life. They're hungry. And they're not vegetarians.
The graveyard out there is full of people coming out of the ground.
We have a little problem.
What the hell is going on there?
Rabbit weasels.
What?
More brains.
Do you want to party? It's party time! We got a party! It's party time! Do you want to party?
They're back from the grave and ready to party.
It's party time!
The return of the living dead.
That's certainly punk rock.
Oh yeah. It is such a fun movie. It's one of the most fun movies. It's also a weirdly relevant film, right? It's the first time that zombies said brains in a movie.
Yes.
It's really the first one where they were specifically eating brains. And so there's a whole bunch of of lore that went on to
Also
become very standard that was
I
invented
think
in
the
this
first
movie.
one where they run. Is it not?
I don't know.
One of, if not...
They're not very fast when they run,
But they're not doing that classic...
No, that's true.
That classic type of walk.
No, that's true. And of course, it's produced by Russell Steiner, who was Johnny from Night of the Living Dead. I'm coming to get you, Barbara. So he produced this movie. Of course, it was directed by Dan O'Bannon, who wrote Alien, among other things, Life Force, Heavy Metal. And the punk rock part of it, of course, you've got these 5 ne'er-do-wells who are just going to hang out and drink and say weird things about dead people in a cemetery, and of course Linnea Quigley, glorious Linnea Quigley, in the naked legwarmers dance. That is probably what's remembered the most about this movie. Trash. She's pretty great. That wig is awful, but she's still pretty great in this movie. But and the soundtrack is great. That song, of course, is an amazing song. The Cramps from Cleveland. They have a song on this. The Damned. There's a ton of Straw Dogs. There's a ton of great punk bands that are on the soundtrack.
Now, originally, I guess, when the script was first given to O'Bannon, it was much more serious and much more of a straightforward telling sequel, which he felt, I guess, was sacrilegious. And
I see.
To intrude on the same turf, and wanted it rewritten to the type of humorous movie where the events from Night of the Living Dead is a movie based on true events, and they had more humor and things like that. So it turned into a totally different movie.
I mean, it's interesting because the storyline very definitely is a sequel to
Mm-hmm.
Night of the Living Dead. I mean, they refer to those events. It's not like that, and this is supposed to have sort of sprung from that same whatever it was.
Right.
But it's a funny idea that they decided it would be more respectful to make it a comedy. That seems funny to me.
Also, one thing about this movie, it's one of the few, at least at the time, when the word zombie is actually said in the movie.
Yeah. It's commonplace now, but even when Shaun of the Dead came out, they're like, you can't say it. You can't say the Z word.
Exactly. And there was a book recently called The Complete History of Returning the Living Dead. And in that book, they claim that Matt Groening, who created The Simpsons, came up with 2 taglines for this movie. One was used in some of the trailers. They're hungry and they're not vegetarians. And that he came up with that. He also came up with one they rejected. First they want to meet you, then they want to eat you.
That's not bad.
That both came from the mind of The Simpsons.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
But this one has certainly turned into a cult favorite over the years. I know we've talked about it a bunch.
We have. And really, most of the sequels of this film, most of the Return of the Living Dead sequels are punk rock as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's just because this one was. And so each one after that just continued with that thread.
Oh, for sure. As soon as you hear that song, you know exactly. You know, you have that visual in your mind. And that is Return of the Living Dead from 1985, number 3 on our list of punk rock horror. And we'll move up to number 2. And this is the one we're going to see tonight. So, as usual, we're not going to talk much about it. This is from 2018. Teen punks on the run from the cops and hiding out in the woods come up against the local authority, an unhinged park ranger with an axe to grind. It's the Ranger.
Yo, Chelsea, that guy bothering you?
The mountain's closed.
It's Chelsea's mountain. She's got a house up there. Chelsea, tell him.
How about that?
Yo, it actually exists. Here's being alive. Hey!
You remember me?
It's all kind of a blur.
How'd you end up with a crowd like that?
WB!
Girl, I remember wouldn't be running with them kind of kids.
I think we should leave this place. Relax. I mean, it was a really bad idea.
Our friend's been shot. We need to get her to a hospital.
We can't get her to a hospital.
We have to try.
Best to put her out of her misery.
What the?
Sorry, kids. Gotta keep the forest clean.
Hey, Fright Club. Thanks so much for coming out to watch The Ranger. The Ranger, I was very inspired by the world of punk and, of course, horror movies. I grew up in a small suburban town, and discovering punk rock and discovering horror both helped me discover my identity. So for my first feature, I really wanted to bash these together. Regarding Punk and the Ranger, it was always the intention to bash the world of the park ranger, this very Smokey Bear, vintage aesthetic, very ordered, with the world of chaos and rebellion and anarchy versus authority. Smokey Bear versus Lisa Frank. These were the aesthetics that I had in mind when diving into the Ranger.
Yay for Jen Wexler joining us. She is the best. And as we said, we're going to have a short film from Jen first here before we show this. So how many people have seen the Ranger already? Okay, couple.
Okay.
But not a lot. That's great.
Wow.
So we're not
you
gonna
guys are in for a treat. This movie is a blast.
It's a blast. We're not going to say anything else about it. Nope. Let Jen speak for us. And, of course, we want to get your reactions, though, after. So come on down, and we'll talk about it and get you on the podcast. So we'll move on. The Ranger number 2. Moving up to number 1, and it's from 2015. This is a punk rock band forced to fight for survival after witnessing a murder at a neo-Nazi skinhead bar in Green Room.
Gentlemen, you're trapped. Things have gone south. It won't end well.
You can't keep us here, man.
We're not keeping you. You're just staying.
Shoot who is left. Let him bleed.
Get ready to run.
Here we go.
Careful now.
This will be over soon, gentlemen.
Love it, love it, love it. I remember when we first saw this movie, we were excited because of Jeremy Saulnier, who we were a fan of. But man, when it was done, I just it's just lean and mean and tense and bloody, and I just freaking loved it.
And whoever cast Patrick Stewart is the villain.
Mm-hmm.
Tip of the hat to you, because it's the last thing you expected. You're like, oh, Patrick Stewart's here, everyone. Things are going to be fine. Nope.
Yeah. And
they're not.
He has talked about this movie in an interview, and he says that he read the script at his country home in England. He said it was so terrifying, he locked up his house, turned on the security system, and poured himself a scotch. And he is awesome in it, cast against type.
Yeah.
So calm, that scene there through the door, which originally Saulnier, he filmed it so that you would have both perspectives, but then realized
it's so much scarier.
Just hear his voice. It is so
and then you
tense.
know what's coming, right? If you've seen the movie, you know what's coming out the door.
Yes. And actually, Saulnier at the time, it was interesting because he has said that he felt his career moving in a direction where if he didn't do this film now, he probably never would.
Oh, okay.
So he pushed and pushed and pushed to do it, and man, it is a ride. It's one of those where you just feel you're clenched up the whole time.
Yeah.
Because you feel for these, and then some of the things that happen to them that you alluded to now, very hard to watch.
Yeah, it's so great. And the whole cast is great. Anton Yelchin, love him to pieces. Imogen Poots in that crazy hair. Yes, please. Yeah. She's so great in this movie. I love Aaliyah Shawkat. I love her in this movie. What happens to her pained me very much. I mean, that's, I think, part of the reason I like this movie is that you really come to like everybody in the band, even though they're all trash. Like, they're all just garbage people, but you like them. And also Imogen Poots. What is going on with that person? She doesn't seem like a good person, but at the same time, you're like, oh my God, shush, Imogen, they're coming. And I admired, the script and the performances to make you see them as humans. Also, what a great band name, the Ain't Rights.
Ain't Rights is great.
That is a great band name for punks.
Yeah,
I love
and
that.
This follows one of the things I love about Saulnier, much like I think it was the movie before this of his Blue Ruin.
Mm-hmm.
It shows regular people doing things that in a different type of genre movie they would do.
Yeah.
Like, say, Blue Ruin had a guy that in an action movie revenge movie, he would just do these things and know how to do them that a normal person wouldn't
know how to. Yeah.
And so Blue Ruin deconstructs it. And the same way in this movie, the band members are forced to be detectives or action heroes, and they're not those things.
No.
So they have a hard time doing it. And that's sort of what he likes to do, which I really appreciate. He deconstructs those genre beats.
Yeah, plus red shoelaces are so scary to me now. And I didn't know
scary.
that. I didn't know any of that before. Yeah, it's a great really glimpse at the way punk rock has gone to the right, like over the years. It's like they were so far left, they came around right. It's just a fascinating look at how the genre of music changed over the decades as well.
Yeah, and for the Ain't Rights, even though they recorded the song separately, that's the actors are playing.
All right.
Playing in
well,
the,
that's the great thing about punk music. You don't have to be very good.
Also, for serious punk, I mean, the punk rock cred for this movie starts right from the poster, because that's taken right from the Clash.
That's a Clash poster,
and it's
right
a great,
there.
great
it's
poster.
so great. I mean, and Fear plays in this. Bad Brains, Syphilitic Lust.
Yeah.
I don't actually know them, but that is a great band name. I'm not familiar with their work, but I just like that band name.
Yeah, it's a great one. It's all kinds of punk and all kinds of horror too, and it's got some humor in it too, especially when they're talking about those desert island.
That's funny.
That last line is pretty funny, and it leaves you hanging about what the answer might be. It gives you an indication, maybe.
George has still been wondering.
No, they give you a little indication, maybe what it might be, or what band might be on their desert island, but not for sure, which I thought was very funny.
And the dogs. Anyway, we can't keep talking about it. If you haven't seen Green Room,
but we love it.
give yourself that gift.
Yeah, so that is number one on our list of punk rock horror. Okay, it's time. I think we're right on. Yeah, we're exactly on time.
Oh, wow.
That is awesome. All right, so we're going to show the short film from Jen Wexler, and then go right into Jen Wexler's The Ranger, then hopefully you'll hang around and come down and tell us what you felt about it.
Yeah.
And how it works into the punk rock list for punk rock horror. So thank you much. Hang out, enjoy it. Stand, hit the short, and then hit the feature. Thank you. Was that fun? There was some female rage going on in there.
Yeah, there was. Yeah. It's a good follow-up movie.
Yeah, that could have qualified for sure.
I love that he came up with the perfect band name at the end, Severed. He was so happy just for that second. He was so happy. I was pleased for him.
We love a good band name.
We do love a good band name.
Not much about the movies, but just the way the short bits and pieces played in so well with, shall we say, the trophy remains?
Yeah. Yeah, she has a preoccupation, perhaps. Those cookies look really good, though, didn't they? I have to admit, I was like, I really want one of those cookies. I really want a Larry Fessenden cookie. They looked delicious. That was a fun short. I'm glad that she let us show that movie. That's a fun short.
Was that, where did we see that before? Was it Nightmares? Why?
No. Jen Wexler and I co-programmed a Women in Horror Month here, and in front of each feature we showed a short, and she let us show that short. I'm not sure which film we paired it with.
You're right.
Sacrifice
Game, of course.
There you go. Of course it was. Another great Jen Wexler movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It goes in places. I mean, you can see some of it coming. And then early on with the, when they're in the van, and her band member friends are not exactly likable. I was feeling a little Texas Chainsaw there at the beginning.
They're not the friends that you want to take to a place you don't want messed up. But there was an anxiety about that seemed very realistic to me. It's like when you watch the movie Mother. And you're just like anxious the whole time because she's like, she said don't sit there, and you're sitting there. That's what it was like for me. Like, you're just like, you're going to build a bonfire in the woods, but not in the fire pit, you morons.
Well, they just had that young punk attitude.
Exactly.
Like, what you got to mess up? They just want to mess it up just for the sake of messing it up.
I know the theme was punk, but what endeared me to this thing immediately was the Charlie Rich needle drop.
It's true. That's true.
That song is burnt into the back of my brain.
And she got her money's worth out of it, too.
Yes, she did. Yes,
Paying for
she
that
did.
at least 3 times, I think, on the needle drop. That is right.
Yeah, one thing I really like about this and the other punk rock horror movies you mentioned is that each of them have like a certain like style. Like with this one, it just like the editing was really interesting, and yeah, the cinematography was really neat too. Yeah, the performances were really great.
Yeah. I liked I liked the way the punk band that the whole that was all shot at the beginning. I liked when she would just get more and more high, and then she'd doze off, and then I liked the way that was shot. The sort of chaos of that I thought was really a lot of fun and a great way to set you up for like how out of place they were going to be out in the woods.
Yeah.
I thought that was well done. I also loved their van.
And I forget, it's the lead actress from the Transfiguration.
Chloe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chloe Levine, I think.
Yeah, if you haven't seen the Transfiguration, it's
that
great.
Was a Fright Club movie.
Yeah, it is great. It was in our vampire list, I believe.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
It's really good.
So right off, I wanted to start with in your punks and horror.
Yeah.
I like that your list, like 2, 3 of the movies, the theme was like punching Nazis.
Yeah. That's a great theme for any movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when in doubt. This movie, what I loved is this was like for a long. There hadn't been a movie for a while that kind of really just followed the classic slasher formula of a sin at the beginning, and then like just tense, and then a wild third act.
Right.
And this was, and it's like this movie did that so well, because like you kind of like the middle of it's kind of, is this boring? And then whoa, and it does that so well.
Yeah, I thought where they went with the villain was really fascinating, much weirder than I think I expected the first time I saw it. And then I loved the way when she turns, I thought that it was just so full of energy and rage in the best way.
Mm-hmm. Punk rage, female rage.
What I really like about this film is it's one of those time-honored traditions of a low-budget film that is built so around like a really, really great lead performance, and Jeremy Holm is just like killing it. He's kind of one of those, performances is like, it's like, why is this guy not a bigger actor? Because he's just, so good in this. And then you think of things like Brooklyn 45, and I think he even had a pretty sizable role in something like House of Cards.
Yeah.
He's got that face that's kind of like resting bastard face, I guess, if you could call it something like that. But it's just it's like mesmerizing. But then like the way he can like just deliver long monologues is riveting at the same time.
And his face can take a beating.
Yeah, it can.
Not a super distilled thought, but I was just thinking about how this villain is like grabbing all these sort of identities and philosophies to justify his like absolutely bloodthirsty need for control. Like everything is through this lens of control. Like, I'm protecting nature, but I'm a park ranger. I'm going to spit all these like, legal statutes at you to justify why I'm murdering you.
Right.
Pull in all this like, oh, the Native Americans do this, so therefore I'm great that I'm doing this. And he's some white guy in the woods.
Right, exactly.
And like kind of projecting himself on this little girl who accidentally killed her uncle and be like, you're like me, and imprinting on her kind of. So a lot of stuff going on there.
There is a lot. I thought it was a funny thing because, you don't see him as like a poser until he does that. Oh, Native Americans did this. And of course, so I feel confident to just take that on for myself, which was sort of like the blue-haired girl in the van, oh, my mom and dad are going to be so mad. Like, you're not punk rock. Get out of here.
Just one additional thought that struck me while I was up there, and I've discussed it with some of the others. I'm not sure she shot her uncle. I think that maybe the ranger shot the uncle so that he could make a move on her.
Well, now, I mean, the way that scene is edited, it's not, you get the sense that she did it accidentally, but she's just watching as it happens, so it's possible.
And I love that you brought up the word imprinting, because I thought that too, especially with the wolf at the end.
Sure, absolutely.
They shared a moment. Well, there's some great thoughts.
Yeah.
Fantastic thoughts. I'm so glad you guys like this.
Yeah.
I thought you would. This is not one of the ones where we thought, I don't know how it's going to go over.
Yeah, no, this is a crowd pleaser.
This is a crowd pleaser,
movie.
Especially when you have the filmmaker join us, drop in with a little message. So we appreciate that. as of right now, we think we know maybe what we're showing next month, but we don't know for sure.
That's right. It's not confirmed.
It's not confirmed. But we can. Well, what's the theme that we're thinking of? We don't know yet.
Traveling carnivals.
Traveling carnivals.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Might change.
Could change.
But we don't know. We'll keep
and
everybody
we might have
posted.
another nice surprise intro from the filmmaker as well.
Oh, that's exactly right. So until next time, she is Hope Madden.
He's George Wolf.
And this is the Fright Club podcast.
This is Jen Wexler. Stay frightful, my friends.